So this next section is going to be mainly full of some definitions. There's some examples that will work too. I don't need you to memorize these word-for-word definitions, but I need you to be able to work the problem, so the examples that I have set out, and then also the MyMathLab. The reason I'm going over the definitions is because a lot of these terms might be new or unfamiliar, so when you're reading the problems in MyMathLab or the problems here in this set, you need to understand what the words mean. So I'll go over the definitions so you can understand the directions, not so that you would memorize these definitions. All right, so we're going to be describing these sets of items, and a set really can have anything in it. Most of our sets will have numbers in them because we're in a math class, but a set could be the letters in the alphabet, or it could be the primary colors, for instance. So a set can be any items or objects that are in there. So a set is just a collection of objects. Again, we'll mainly be dealing with numbers for our objects, but they could be anything really. An individual object is called an element. And we use some shorthand. We use lots of shorthand in math. For instance, we use a little t to mean adding, the sum of two numbers. So a shorthand for element is an E like this. That is the shorthand. When we see that, that just means that's an element. When we go to name sets, we name them with capital letters. So for instance, I might come down here and I might call this set the set N, and I might make it the numbers 1 through 5. So capital letters are used to name those sets, and the elements are listed inside brackets, as you can see what I wrote down below. If you cannot write a bracket like that, you can make a squiggle line. That's fine too. Just don't do parentheses. Parentheses have a different meaning in math, so you won't see us writing on that. Somehow we're going to communicate that bracket idea. All right. I'm going to come back to this little line in just a second as I go through here. So elements can be written in any order at all. So I also could write in. I could just mix up the order. They don't have to be from high to low or increasing or decreasing and anything like that. But they can only be written once. So you cannot repeat elements. I will never list the same thing twice in a set. That's just some grammar rules here. Now, there are two ways to list sets out. What I was doing up above is the what's called the listing method. So I'll just do another example. So I might call this set E. That is the set of even numbers. We've seen that ellipse, the dot, dot, dot already. That just means that we're just going to like keep going. So 10's in that list, 22, 104, all the even numbers are in that list. And then I'll make it just, so I have some examples for my next problem. I'm going to make another set. Set A is different. It does not have the ellipse on the end. It just has 4 elements in it, 2, 4, 6, and 8. It only has 4 elements, where set E has infinity elements. It has all the even numbers. Now for our assignments, like on exams and stuff like that, you're only going to be asked to use this listing method here. But there weren't tons of homework problems for me to choose from. So when I was going through and picking the homework problems, I did have to choose some that use set builder notation. I'm not going to ask you to show work in set builder notation or work out tons of these. You're not going to have to write yourself in set builder notation, but you might have to read it because, like I said, there weren't tons of homework problems for me to choose from. So I was kind of stuck using that set builder notation. And that's going to bring me back up here to my other star. So set builder notation, instead of just listing it all out, it kind of describes the set. So let me give an example of one, and then I'll explain it. So let me get it written out. So I can make this same set E. So that set E there, we know it's the even numbers. And so that's what this little bar right here is. It's just a vertical line. That's just a fancy way of saying is the element of. So what we have written right here is we have a variable. So E is, that variable means any. It can be anything. So the set X, so anything, is the element of if it's this even number right here. So basically that's saying any even number. And since it can be anything, we've got that variable there. There's infinity possible answers. And those are, it's kind of nasty. That's why we're just going to have to read it, not really list it out. So I've got, oh, I don't want to do E. I already did E. I'm going to do A. This one's even harder to write out. I'm going to use that X. Set build notation starts with that variable because it can be anything from a set of lists. So there's more than one possible answer, so we have that variable there. This time, X is an even number that is less than or equal to 8 and greater than or equal to 2. So that's that set A. It's only the even numbers between 2 and 8. You also might have it written out like this. We might used to be seeing it like that. It's all the even numbers between 2 and 8.